Welcome to NBR. This is race number 5 of the TFG Championship. We are here at Rio Coast Loop Reversed for a 50-lap race. We're about to start a 10-minute qualifying session to determine our starting grid. We have small numbers tonight, but that does not mean that we are going to have a bad race. We're in the Volvo touring car spec, and we'll be hopping on very shortly to get qualifying underway. Even with 4 people, we can still have a blast here. We've proven time and time again, low numbers does not mean bad racing. It really depends on, your group that you have with you. But, alright, we're getting started. We're getting ready to start qualifying. It's going to be a 10-minute qualifier, so this will be time-based. Get your stopwatches started, because I don't have a clock on my hands right now. I can tell when we're roughly going to be out of time. Now, qualifying is really just going to show us how well people are going to be able to lap this track. It's not going to give us any true data about how well the race is going to go, but you never know. And this track has some tight walls, so you never know. We're going to hop on with Cyberpunk for the first lap, and we're going to look at race stats. Do note that the best lap on the bottom left there and in the top ticker is going to be incorrect. It's going to show the dirtiest fastest lap. However, we only count clean laps. The positions should, if the lobby's set up correctly. Oh, Chavez with a big spin is gonna wreck out. Oh, I think he saved it. That was mighty close there. Oh shoot, my controller's disintegrating. Uh-oh. The rubber grips in the back are falling apart. And Chavez with an early spin in quali. That's not a good sign. Hopefully he kept it out of the wall. We can actually hop on board with Chavez there. What's interesting about really short tracks is that you have so much time to set a lap. Just lap after lap after lap. Chavez doesn't look to be pitting, so I'm guessing he doesn't have any damage. We'll hop on board with him because he was an interesting contender last race. He was very quick. He was rapid. But he had an incident early on that meant that he was not going to be able to contest for, I think it was 3rd, right? No, it was 4th. The battle for 4th between Mailman and Chavez. Great battle. He still looks to be a little squirrely with that tune. It looks to have it together. It's really tricky to get this corner right. It's under braking, and you got to turn in hard to make that apex. I think we're a little lenient on the track limits on that corner, but if you're cutting it over and over again, you're gonna get penalized, and that's gonna be tricky. Getting that fine line of, is my center line of the car going all the way off the track there? Look how fast they get up to the end of the straight. And Oliver in the pits looks like he may have accumulated some damage. We have had our first few laps go through, and Amoeba setting the best. Wow, he's best everything. He's the leader, and ooh, Chavez going on a little bit of wall riding there, getting a little drifty. Amoeba setting a 48-second lap, 48.6, followed by the ticker. I gotta switch it back. Hold on. No, don't want. Come on. Thank you. Where's best laps? Lap times. There we go. So we have Mailman with a 48.7, which is only a 10th behind. That's not bad. A 49 for Chavez. Oliver at the 54. Looks like he had some incident. A 49 for Cyberpunk. It looks like he got a dirty lap, unfortunately. Clean laps are going to be really costly around here. Hop on board with our leader in quali right now, LMP Amoeba, followed shortly behind Mailman. There's only so much time you can get out of this track, and I feel like this grid's going to be really close, especially during these first few laps. I would not be surprised if there's going to be a virtual safety car or something out in these early laps as people start scrambling for positions. Wow, look how flawlessly he's able to control this car around this track. It's a really simple track, but look at that line. It's perfect. As compared to Mailman, who runs a little bit wider here, Amoeba's able to set up that apex perfectly so that he gets a better run down the straight. And look at that. Oliver takes the top speed of the session with 145 miles an hour. That is really quick in these tight quarters. It's probably down this straightaway with this long left-hander, which is hard to hold depending on your setup. Most likely they're running a lot of downforce here because why wouldn't you? You want the stability through these tight sections, but at the same time, if you can squeeze another few miles an hour out of that final straightaway, why wouldn't you? Amoeba with a 47.5 now, Mailman with a 48.3, Chavez with a 51.9, Cyberpunk with a 49... come on. Oh, back. Ooh, Oliver setting a good lap. We'll see what that is. A 48.2, Mailman with a 48.3, Chavez with a 51.9, and Cyberpunk with a 40. It keeps going as soon as I try and read his time. I'll hop on board with Mailman, who's still in contestants for that top 3 position. It looks like Amoeba probably has pole under wraps here, but second and third are going to be really close. As Cyberpunk might be able to put a good time up there against Chavez. We'll have to see how that plays out. It's all about clean laps, so Chavez is able to set a 49.4 that's pulling into the Mailman and Oliver's time. Cyberpunk sets a clean 50.5. Amoeba's still holding pole, precisional pole with a 47.1 now. He might be able to get in the 46s. I would not be surprised. But is there that much time on this track is the question. Hillman and Oliver's qualifying times within a tenth of each other now. Chavez putting out a 49.4. Was that new? I'm not sure. It's kind of, we don't have like lap. It's just everybody's going across the line at different times. So we still have a bit of time left in this session, I believe. So we'll be able to get some more laps in. Chavez with a, I think I just said that, 49.4. Cyberpunk knocking off a few thousandths of a second off that lap. Chavez knocking a tenth off with a 49.2. Tenth and a half. On board with Cyberpunk. See if he's able to set a clean lap that will get him out of last place and in contestants with Chavez here. He has the pace, as we saw with that dirty lap. Just, is he able to set it clean is the question. It's real tricky to get the track limits here. Oh, and he's going to send it into the wall, unfortunately. That's what happens when you're pushing on a street circuit. You hit a bump a little bit too hard, trying to push as hard as you can, and you're going to end up in that wall. That's just a part of street circuits, unfortunately. And Chavez might be able to hold this. Hopefully he didn't get any damage from that impact. It's really easy to take damage. He's sticking to the left. It looks like he might be diving into the pits. We'll have to see. Yep, and he's going to dive into the pits. Wow, he got air there. I think that was a little bit of a bug. We'll hop in with Chavez here. We'll go back through. Amoeba's a 47.4 now. Oh, no. Amoeba has a dirty 47.1. That's not clean. That is the fastest lap in the session, but it is dirty. Amoeba's fastest lap is a 47.4 right now. Oliver with a 48.4. Mailman with a 49.3 clean, I'm assuming that is. Chavez with a 48.4. That must be dirty. I think Chavez's lap... No? Hold on. The timing is doing some weird stuff right now. I'm just going to read you the times and we'll figure out if it's clean or dirty at the end. Oh, are these previous laps? Are these not best lap time? Why wouldn't it show me best lap times? I don't want time behind leader. Distance from leader. Time intervals? No. Distance gaps? No. Lap times. Okay, I see what's happening. It's showing each. I can't believe it doesn't show you like best laps on top, but showing us previous laps so we can see where people are improving or where people are getting worse. It's not keeping the best laps on the ticker. In position, it is, however. Amoeba currently holding pole. That's what was... Okay, I get why it wasn't... It was showing us two different things last week. I don't think it was a dirty... Well, maybe it was a dirty... I don't know. I don't understand Forza, to be honest. As for how long I've been playing it, I really don't understand it. We're coming down to the end of this session here. Oliver almost sticking up into the 47s there. Whoa, Chavez getting squirrely on that fast left-hander. Real easy to lose it there. You got to hold on to it. If you have to brake, you're going to lose so much time going through that section there. And you're hard on the brakes trying to get the car turned around. We'll hop on board with Oliver here. Oh, that's not the right thing. Hop on board with Oliver here as he's looks to be out of contestant for first place now, unfortunately. We'll have to see if he's able to push some time out of this car. He's still got to defend from Mailman, who seemed to have been real close on time here. Oliver setting a real slow lap that time. Mailman setting another slow lap, unfortunately. Chavez with a 58.7. Overall, it looks like the pace is pretty close as we're seeing these lap times come across. Cyberpunk with a good lap at 57, at 50.7. With how close Cortez's race is, like, the first few laps are going to be a madhouse. As, like, unless people are getting positions in turn one and they're there, whoa, Oliver drifting it, sending it on the wall, a little bit of scraping there. I think he touched, I'm not sure if he touched it. I didn't see any sparks pop up there. Oliver with the fastest top speed currently in the race. I think he still had that. What was that between Amoeba? I can't remember. I'm having short-term memory loss right now, which is not good for a commentator. Oliver improving from his previous lap. Is it going to be enough to beat Amoeba's fastest lap? Mailman with small improvement from his previous lap. Chavez with a 3/10 gain on his previous lap. Cyberpunk, unfortunately, down a second. Trying to set clean laps on this track can really ruin your pace. Even if you're not really, like, cutting, and you're just going off in a certain area where you think you should be going off, like, a little bit, and then you can't go off at that spot, it's going to ruin your lap. Because, oh, Amoeba takes the fastest top speed of the session away from Oliver, 146 miles an hour. Let's see how much time they're squeezing out of these cars. It's like, they're pushing and pushing and pushing. It looks like we might have another person join us for the race. I could be wrong. I believe that's the end of quali. Yeah, it is. Time is up, and we're going to look at... Oh, we have Ace. Blind Ace Gen hopping in to... I mean, he's going to start at the back. They're going to start at the back of the grid, but they are joining us for the race. Anyways, let's look at the final finishing results. Oh, they're out of order. Okay, we'll have to figure this out. LMP Amoeba is going to take pole with a 47.1. That was a clean lap for whatever... Okay, so I was not wrong. It was not dirty. I'm sorry for accusing you of dirtying that lap. Oh, so Cyberpunk's 49 was a clean lap. I just suspected it was dirty because of the way the ticker works. Anyways, let's go on. Oliver with a very quick lap, a 48.0. Almost hitting the 47s, but Amoeba is a second faster than anybody on this track. I think it's safe to say he's going to have a pretty smooth ride to victory lane here, unless something happens with, you know, we have two cars on track right now. Mailman taking third place, just barely with the skin of his teeth from Chavez, both setting 48.5s, but Mailman was able to edge out Chavez just by a few thousandths of a second, and not holding up the back of the grid. But second to last on the starting positions is Cyberpunk with a respectable 49.6. And we have Blind Ace Gen hopping in. And here we go, everyone, and welcome to race number 5 of the Rio Coast Loop TFG race. Rio Reverse. Sorry. We're getting ready to start the race here. We're going to start the formation lap. We're hopping onto the grid. We're going to start with LMP Amoeba as we hop on board for this first formation lap. And this is going to be a crazy lap, I can tell you that. Let's get ready for the 50 laps of Rio Coast Loop Reverse. This is going to be a race, I can tell you that. It's going to be a little bit interesting. All right, here we go. Let's see how this goes. I'm really interested to see how this is gonna go. So we hop on with Amoeba, the beautiful stock livery. Gotta respect it. So we're gonna go single file through the formation lap, and they will go double wide, probably out of the final corner or kind of towards the end of the track. I want to call this Microsoft Corner because we have all the Microsoft signs on the walls there. Microsoft Corner. But to be fair, there's Microsoft everywhere, so I guess there'd be a lot of Microsoft Corner. Oh, Jesus! Ace! Holy moly! Is Ace okay? Does that car have damage? No, the car doesn't. That's kind of a lucky bounce. Alright, let's hop back on to our leader, Amoeba. I thought we were going to have to do a restart there or an abort start because that looked like a big hit. Are we going to double up here? Wow, we're doubling up early. Okay. So Amoeba's going to lead us to the start. We see Ace holding up the rear there. They're going to get double wide in time? We'll have to see. This is a long way to the start line. They're going to be kind of going slow into turn 1 for the first time around. And here we go for race number 5, the TFG Championship at Rio. And here we go. We are green. And here we go. Not much movement up front. Oliver looks to have a little bit of a run on the outside. Mailman's going to square up on the inside there. He's going to hug the inside wall with Amoeba there. Chavez and Oliver going into the outside. Ace getting a little bit of slide. Into turn 1 they go. Amoeba at the lead. Mailman's going to succeed from Oliver there, but might get him back on the second apex, and does. Oh, almost secures the position. Chavez still up there. Mailman trying to contest there for Oliver, but it has no luck. Ace having another little switch there in the back, and here we go into this hard braking zone, hard left. And Amoeba's going to go real wide and hit the wall. Slams into the wall. It's going to go slow. I think he might have damage. That's going to be a big upset on lap 1. We'll have to see if he has damage, but we'll have to go back on board with the battle for first here. We'll check in with Amoeba soon. Mailman now leading the race after lap 1, followed by Oliver and Chavez, with Ace and Cyberpunk battling behind. Ace seems to have no control over that car right now. It seems to be all over the place. Maybe that tune's not working out. And Oliver's going to kiss the wall. That was very romantic of you, Oliver. You gave the inside wall a little kiss. Oh, and it looks like we might have a disconnect. No, just seems like a weird wall of death. Still leading, though. Oh, Ace gonna clobber another wall back there. We'll have to check in there. Mailman still leading with Oliver close to his tail, with Chavez not too far behind, as it did seem like Amoeba did have damage from that incident and had to go pit. That was a big upset. We'll have to see if Amoeba's able to crawl back here. Amoeba has a lot of pace, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Oliver seems to have fallen back a little bit from Mailman, with Chavez on the attack now. Not exactly the attack. He's getting closer, but he's not close enough to really put pressure yet. But, you know, every lap, it's a very short lap. So, oh, Chavez in the wall there. He's going to scrape it a bit. He's going to lose a little bit of time there. And Oliver's going to send it up on the inside on Mailman there. He's going to tag his rear quarter panel a little bit there. He's going to slow them both down. Chavez is going to be able to get back into the mix there a little bit. Oliver tagging the wall a little bit more. Let's hop in with Oliver, because Oliver seems to have all the action here. Oliver's going to try and send it up here. No, that's not a good spot to send it up. Both cutting, Oliver and Chavez cutting that inside curb there a little bit. And Oliver trying to take up, he's trying to put pressure on Mailman. He's trying to force him into a stake, because I think Oliver is faster than Mailman at this point. Now, Cyberpunk not too far behind with Ace as well. Amoeba's still about half a track length behind, as you can see on the map there. Ooh, somebody skimmed that inside tire barrier there. Back through turn 1, this big sweeping left-hander. How much speed you can carry through here is very important. Oliver seems to have a little bit more of a run. Onto the brakes they go, hard onto the brakes. Oliver onto the inside. Made that pass before it was even possible, hard on the brakes, but is Mailman going to have the switchback? Mailman's going to try and get the switchback. He's going to try it around the outside. That wall comes up really fast on the outside. Mailman is going to succeed, but is still kind of there. Chavez kind of watching in the background. Mailman's going to finally succeed, and Oliver's going to smack the wall on the outside there. He's going to slow down heavily, and Chavez is going to try and get around the outside, but there's nowhere to pass there. We'll have to see if Oliver has damage from that smack. It didn't look like too heavy of a smack. Luckily, he got out of there scot-free, and Chavez is going to be able to contest him now, as Mailman's still leading the race. Board Chavez, who now has an interesting opportunity, as Oliver got slowed down there from that wall strike. He was trying to outbrake him, and there's mirrors jumping down the track. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, Chavez with a big twitch, another big twitch. Oh, is gonna hold it. That's a weird camera angle. Oliver also drifting around this long left-hander onto the brakes. Oliver, amazing car control on the brakes there, is going to take is going to try and take first position from Mailman again. And looks to have succeeded there. That was an incredible move. Mailman is giving up the position. It's kind of hard to contest with that part. Well, we'll have to see how long Oliver is able to hold it. Mailman running a little bit wide there is going to lose a little bit of time there. Chavez is going to try and pick up the slack here. Pop him with Chavez, who looks like we might have an opportunity coming up soon if he's able to keep this in behind Mailman. Getting that exit's really important there, as you can catch up to the guy ahead of you towards the end of the straight in these cars. I'm not sure how much aero they're running, but the more aero they're running, the more this draft is going to play an effect. Oliver looks to have pulled away a little bit from Mailman. Let's go down the order there. We'll have Oliver in first, Mailman in second, third, Chavez, fourth, Cyberpunk, fifth. Wow, okay, I just got spammed with notice. Fifth, Blind Ace, and sixth, Amoeba. Amoeba still about a half a track length behind. Board of Mailman, who's the middle of the three Musketeers right now. We'll have to see what happens between these guys. These guys were duking it out at Yas Marina. Oliver got away, but then Chavez and Mailman had a good battle. Chavez is definitely wanting revenge from Bahrain, as we said. As we saw him lose it at the last second on the last lap to unfortunately give that position away to Mailman after making such a recovery drive after a big incident early on that caused him to drop down the order. This is a beautiful camera angle, as you can watch the brake rotors all glowing here. We did see some chaos, but it looks like the grid's now starting to back off a little bit. We'll see if they will actually have to make a pit stop. I'm not sure how they're going to do on tires. Actually wasn't informed if they're going to have to make a pit stop. I should have been talking to them a little bit more about this. Beautiful line there from Mailman. As we see this battle cool down, there's still 2 seconds between everyone. Hop on board with the Amoeba, who's catching up to Ace here. We'll hop on board with Cyberpunk, who's holding a pretty good lead here from Ace, who's probably just learning the car for the first time, unfortunately. He's not too far from Chavez, to be honest. He's holding decent pace, with Ace about 8 seconds behind, and Amoeba, well, no, about 6 seconds. Yeah, Ace is about 6 seconds behind Cyberpunk and falling back slowly. Amoeba is slowly catching up. Hop back on board with Ace, as we saw Cyber with a big lock. With Mailman. Mailman made that deficit come down a little bit. We're now 1.3 seconds away, where it was 2 seconds a lap ago. Is Mailman actually pulling here, and is Chavez out of this draft? It's kind of hard to tell at this point. We'll have to see how this plays out throughout these laps. There's a lot of laps. Ooh, Chavez getting a little laggy back there. That's a little scary. There's a lot of laps, but as we can see, we're already 10 out of 51 laps. They're flying by like this. And wow, Mailman got a good run through there, and Chavez got a little loose back there. I think he saved it. He's going to lose time there. He's going to now go 2 seconds behind Mailman. Mailman seems to have pretty steady pace right now with Oliver. Only dropping a little bit in that middle section. They're both having great drives right now. This is such a beautiful track, I gotta mention. You have the beautiful coast of Rio. The track, like all the signage and the design and the planes driving by, is really pretty. And Oliver's gonna get a really slidey in the first corner. I think that's technically the first corner. Doesn't seem to have lost much time from that, as I think Mailman's running ABS still, which might be killing him in the brakes. We see that Oliver, maybe that's how Oliver outbraked him so hard into turn 2. That heavy braking zone. That he might be running ABS. He's running really good times for ABS, I'm not gonna lie. But that might be the deficit that might be able to push Mailman to Oliver's pace if he's able to run without ABS, but we'll see. We'll hop back to the back of the grid where we have a battle, an unexpected battle, but we have Ace and Amoeba battling it out through the middle sector here. Amoeba trying to make a comeback drive as he's going to send it up on the inside of Ace there. Ace seemed to have given the position there, running a beautiful CXRL badge from the old days. And Amoeba's going to make up a position after losing it all on lap 1. Hop back on board with our battle for the lead, our closest battle currently. Fortunately, Chavez is dropping back from the pack a little bit, but we'll see how this plays out. Still, you know, any little mistake between these top 2 guys can mean positions for anyone in the grid, basically. Unless they are also involved. Yeah, you can see how much time Mailman loses in the brakes, but seems to make up a lot of time mid-corner and out of corner. I'm curious if he's running less or more aero. And Chavez into the pits. Cyberpunk is going to hop up into 3rd place. We'll see how that plays out for the rest of the drivers. Actually, we'll check on with our tire usage here. The tires are not too cooked yet, but I think they'll last. They might just barely last this race. So Chavez is now down the order. Chavez all the way in last now after a pit stop, which means Amoeba is catching up to Cyberpunk. We'll hop on board with Cyberpunk and watch how Amoeba is going to have to make this comeback drive. Now, Oliver's probably hoping, because he wants to win this championship, is probably hoping that everyone's going to be able to hold up Amoeba. When he crashed, he probably did a little hooray in his head, as respectful as you can. But Amoeba is a second faster, just in qualifying, than anybody on this track currently. So we'll have to see how this plays out through the rest of this race as he is rapidly approaching Cyberpunk. To the mid-sector we go. Oh, Cyberpunk getting a little loose and unfortunately hit the wall there, and it's going to cause Amoeba to catch that position. It's really easy to catch that inside wall there. There's the kind of driving that we saw from Amoeba earlier during quali. LMP Amoeba with the fastest lap with a 47.4 currently. Now, here's the gap we're going to watch. It's the gap between Amoeba and Mailman and the Mailman to Oliver. As Amoeba still has a lot of track to make up, and it looks like we have another person in the pits. Let's go see who that is. It is Cyberpunk who's driven into the pits. I'm curious if they had damage from that wall strike. It doesn't seem like that was a hard enough wall strike to cause damage, but you never know with Forza. It can be here or there. Somebody else go in the pit, or is this still the same person? Who else is in the pits? Chavez is back in the pits. That's unfortunate. I'm curious what's happened there. And we have lap traffic for the leaders. Mailman getting held up by Cyberpunk here. Just an unfortunate spot to catch him. Hopefully the blue flag procedures are followed properly here. Cyberpunk's going to go to the left, and Mailman's going to have to go to the right. I don't know why we're watching Oliver here. Mailman got by cleanly, hopefully. But it seems like he lost a second in pace there. Again, we'll have to see how that plays out. Amoeba catching up to lap traffic as well, it seems. Catching up to Chavez, who has unfortunately had to pit again. Curious if he's just having bad luck with that car on this track currently. As we saw from Bahrain, not Bahrain. Yes, Marina, that's the right track. He was driving a really twitchy setup, which was really quick. It was a really fast setup, but unfortunately it caused him to get into a few incidents early on and to the late of the race, which caused him to lose his position. His battle to Mailman. See how Amoeba deals with the lap traffic here. Really clean driving from everyone so far. I think the fact that there wasn't a virtual safety car lap 1 is something to be proud of. Oh, and Chavez is going to get a little bit squirrely out into the first corner. Just slowly closing that gap. Chavez is not a very slow driver. We can see that he's holding his own right now. It's just unfortunate it seems so far down the grid after such a great performance in Yas Marina. Maybe he'll be able to pull it back from events that will happen in this race. We'll never know. And Amoeba's going to dive on the onside. Chavez giving up that position beautifully. That was a beautiful blue flag there. Now, here we go. Amoeba is now on the run to Mailman. Less than half a track now. It's still a good bit of distance splitting them. Oliver and Mailman catching up to lapped cars now. The gap between Mailman and Oliver about 4 seconds now, leveling out. I don't think Oliver's going to have enough time to hold this from Amoeba. He's going to have to drive like hell when Amoeba gets here. Because Amoeba's going to catch them. You can see that time there. That gap is closing. They're also catching up to lap traffic, and we'll see how they're able to handle lap traffic here. Lap traffic can always be a doozy. See that car jumping around on this fast right-hander. His roads are really, road circuits are very bumpy, especially this brick section, which makes it really hard to brake. These guys are handling these cars wonderfully around the bumpy streets of Rio. See, Oliver's catching up to Ace, who is a lap down almost. It looks like Ace was struggling with the car early on and is now in 4th position. That's not half bad after having to pit early in an incident. I believe they had to pit. I could be wrong. or was second place. Mailman, 4.5, split him the leader, but Amoeba has brought down the gap to 11 seconds and gaining. 21 laps out of 51 so far at Rio. Eva catching up to some lap traffic here. We'll see how he's able to handle it. We'll also have to hop on with Oliver, who's catching up to Ace here. How you handle lap traffic can really depict on how your race is going to go. Amoeba handles that beautifully. Not going to overbrake, is going to have perfect control of the car there. Wonderful move from both drivers there. Oh, and Ace and Oliver get together! What happened there? Oliver's destroyed. Ace got into, or Oliver got into Ace. What the hell happened? It looks like Mailman is going to take first position here. Big upset. Are those two cars involved? Hold on. Ace and Oliver dive into the pits. That could be a virtual safety car. We'll have to see. It looks like Ace did take damage. That is technically within the ruling to be a virtual safety car, and it looks like it is. It is a virtual safety car. We're under virtual safety car conditions now. The pits are supposed to be closed. I believe that's just, don't exit. That's Mailman and Oliver. I mean, Oliver and Ace in the pits right now. They'll have to serve a penalty pit once pits reopen, depending on when it was announced. We'll have to see. But that's a huge upset. We have a virtual safety car on track. The race is neutralized. Amoeba is right on the bumper of Mailman now. Oliver is going to lose his lead, and we have a stopped car on track. Ace has stopped on track. Looks like they're going to get going again. We'll have to see if pits open this lap. They most likely will stay closed. We'll have to see, because the whole grid is not here. And pits are closed. So they'll be going around another lap. What an upset. That's not how you want to handle lapped cars, as we were just commenting about how beautifully Amoeba was getting around the lapped cars. I'm not sure what happened. We just missed it, unfortunately. Looks like Ace is back into the pits, probably for some damage that might cause another go-around. The pits, we'll have to see. I knew it was a little crazy that we haven't seen a virtual safety car yet. Now, how a virtual safety car works at NBR is the leader will become the safety car, or the lead car overall becomes the safety car, and they'll hold a set speed, and everyone will queue up behind them. For multi-class races, it gets a little complicated, but we're not going to go through that here. Essentially, the lead car can still pit, and then whoever becomes the lead car will resume the safety car role, basically. As now, this might cause more chaos as everyone's grouped up. Everybody's gotten more warmed and more comfortable to the track and the cars. Looks like Cyber had a bit of a wall strike there. Hopefully no damage. It's still closed, or nobody wants to take them. It's probably a mix of both. Now Chavez might actually have a chance to come back here. He's still on starting fourth here, as long as he does not pit. Oliver down to the back of the grid now. Oh, hold on, we have lapped cars. So Chavez and Cyber and Ace are all lapped cars currently. So they're going to have to get their lap back. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, Cyber, Chavez, and Ace might still be in this. Depending if they've only been lapped once, they will have a chance. If they've been lapped multiple times, they will be fine. Oh, they won't really have a chance, but we'll have to see. To wait and see until lapped cars are dealt with. We'll I'm pretty sure we have a lap cars rule in this championship. If we go green and we don't deal with lap cars, then we'll know that there's no lap cars rule here. Or pits could be opening. We'll see. We'll have to see how this plays out. They're not going double wide. Yeah, and it looks like pits opened finally. Okay. Ooh, Cyber getting real sketchy there. That would almost look like a penalty. You can't do that. You have to... Somebody spin out back there? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Who's driving backwards? Ace? I saw that. You went backwards on the map there. That's unacceptable. Unless they hit the pit entry wall. They may have hit the pit entry wall. I didn't see that. Okay. Now after chaos is resumed up. So that now that the grids was back together, they opened the pit. Oliver opened the pits. I thought they opened the pits the lap before. It didn't look like it. Now the pits are open. Now we're going to wait for the entire grid to come back around. Once the entire grid is together, they'll probably let lapped cars by. They'll go around for a lap. Once the entire grid's back together, we'll go green. What a race. I'll have to see how... Yeah, so Cyberpunk, Chavez, and Ace are all down one lap. So they can all be on the lead racing lap once they deal with lapped cars. And that's once Ace gets back to the grid. I thought they were lapped twice. Interesting. So we'll have to see how this plays out. I'm kind of anxious, to be honest. So here's how it's going to go. Oliver's going to get back into third position overall. It's going to be right behind Amoeba. Mailman's going to be holding up first. This kind of sucks for Mailman having a smaller grid. He's going to have everybody he just was rooting for crashing. It's like, hey, free first position, I'll take it. And as soon as they go on the restart, you have the fastest guy in the lobby right on your rear bumper. It looks like Ace is back together here, so we'll probably see lapped cars overtake, and it looks like Mailman might be slowing down. We'll have to see. Yep, lapped cars are passing there, and Oliver's going to strike the wall. Or to Oliver, make sure he doesn't have any damage. We're seeing all the lapped cars overtake the virtual safety car currently. No damage for Oliver. Alright, we'll hop on with our lead car, and we'll have to wait until the lapped cars get back around. Please don't crash on the safety car, guys. That's literally the worst thing you can do imaginable. Just bring it around safely and quickly. And we'll get back to racing. It's kind of funny. Mailman is actually our seasoned safety car driver for NBR. But he's decided to race in the TFG Championship, and we love to see it, actually. Trying to get back in the swing of things for new game. Wow, there's some paint traded off of that car. Goodness gracious. So I think we're probably going to go green next lap. We'll have to wait and see. Chavez is going to be on the lead lap, Cyber's going to be on the lead lap, and Ace are all going to be on the lead lap. So everybody we thought was kind of out of the contention after some incidents are going to be right back there. I think Chavez might be able to make some work happen. He looked to be struggling with pace a little bit. We'll have to see how that all plays out. There's still a lot of race left, a lot of laps. We're only 28, probably going to go green on 29. Or 30, I'm not exactly sure. Really, we should be going like 45 right now, but it's whatever. Yeah, we're going to go green on lap 30, well, going to lap 30 here. As the grid is all coming back together, and this is now officially a formation lap, I believe. As we will be going green on going to lap 30. That'll give us 21 laps left of racing, and that's a lot for stuff to happen, especially with the grid all bunched back up. We have to start it all over again. Is Amoeba going to make a mistake like he did on lap 1? Ooh, Cyberpunk with another wall strike there. Real easy to hit that wall. Just hope he did not take any damage on that during the safety car. I guess track limits don't technically matter as much during a safety car. Ace just hopping the curb there. Alright, and here we go. We're going double wide, side by side, for the restart of the 50 laps of Rio for race number 5 of the TFG Championship for the Volvo Spec Series. And here we go. We're rounding the final corner out on the start-finish straight. And we are green, green, green. We are green at Rio once more. Second for the first restart here. Mailman going to hold the outside. Amoeba going to go for the inside. And chaos might ensue here. Chavez going on the outside here. Here, Cyber, Oliver going to lose a position. Got a really bad start there. Cyber gained a position. And on the brakes, Amoeba seems to have it. And Oliver's going to try and send it up on Chavez. And a little bit of contact back there. And it looks like, oh, Amoeba going to go hard into the wall there. It looks like he got a pretty hard wall strike. Chavez is going to get past Oliver. Cyberpunk's going to drop back to the rear as Oliver gets past him. No. Oh, Oliver, real wide there. I don't think he struck the wall, but he got a little bit of contact there with Ace there. As Amoeba's going to lead the pack. Mailman in second, Chavez in third. And, Chavez is going to get a little bit wide there and is going to strike the wall a little bit. Ace and Oliver running side by side now down the back straight. And my ear is ringing. This is real unfortunate for this to happen. With Cyberpunk not too far behind. We'll have to see what happens. A little bit of contact in Oliver's round. Oh, Oliver saved that with a huge slide. And Cyberpunk's going to get by as well. And Oliver's going to drop back to the last position now. As we go back to the battle for the front, we have Mailman and Chavez. The Amoeba slowly pulling away from Mailman, unfortunately. It's not pulling too quickly. Back to the battle. From the rear, we have Cyberpunk and Oliver. Oliver back on the attack. It's going to go on the inside here, but Cyberpunk's going to have the inside back on braking, but Oliver's just going to outdo him on braking as we see Ace losing it a little bit. Ace is going to get a little tap from behind, it looked like, from Oliver. These guys are really close here on the exit here. We'll have to see how this plays out to the turn 1. Chavez not too getting followed, pretty close behind the mid pack here, as Oliver, Ace, and Cyberpunk run down the front, the start-finish straight into turn 1. Oliver is going to have the position now. He's going to have the lead, going to have the run on the inside, but Ace is going to might contest it around the outside. It is a double apex corner. We'll see Oliver locks up and goes super wide. Cyberpunk also goes wide, and Ace is going to be able to secure the position now. Oliver's going to have to slide in behind Ace now, and Cyberpunk's still falling behind pretty closely. A great battle in the back here. So Oliver's going to be really upset that he's back here after being in first for so much of this race and accidentally getting into an incident. See, Ace going to have a massive drift there. It looked great on camera, Ace, but it's not going to be too great for your pace out of the final corner. Second to final corner. I guess this is technically a corner. Oliver going to contest the inside on Ace here. He's going to get a better run. Go way deep to the inside. This means he might have to lift off a little bit more onto this part of the track because it's real bumpy. Oliver's going to run them both into the wall. They're both crashed. Big wreck, and that is definitely going to be a virtual safety car. Another incident between these two. Yeah, that is definitely a big wreck between the two. Another accident. And we're going to have another virtual safety car here as Amoeba is leading the race. Another incident between Oliver and Ace. We'll have to see who was at fault for that afterwards. It's kind of hard to see. There might be SIs filed after the race. We'll have to see. I know Oliver and Ace aren't too button heads, but, you know, I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. They're both on the lead lap there. I think it was mostly a racing incident. But now our new order, as the virtual safety car is announced, is Amoeba, Mailman, Chavez, Cyberpunk, Oliver, and Ace at the back. Cyberpunk has had a pretty good race, pretty incident-free. Little wall strike here and there, but has never been in a big incident so far. I think he had one time he had to pit for damage. So far, pretty good performance. It's kept it out of incidents. Same with Amoeba and Mailman. Amoeba with the massive comeback drive. It would have been a huge drive, really, if he was able to get the whole thing done in time. But unfortunately, well, I guess fortunate for Amoeba, there was a safety car that allowed him to come back up and get first place from Mailman. But now Mailman, Chavez, Amoeba, and Cyberpunk could all have their hands in the top positions here. To wait and see. Lap 34.51. We're only going to have a few laps left once this virtual safety car is done. Pits will probably open next lap once the guys who have already pitted come back. Ace and Oliver will have to serve penalty pit stops for pitting under a closed pit lane. They took emergency service, as we would say technically in NBR. They had damage that they couldn't hold pace speeds with, so they went into the pit lane. You can take emergency service, but the only thing you got to do is when the pits open, you have to take another pit stop. Looks like the grid is going to be fully bunched up once more, and the pits will open this lap most likely. Unless something happens. This has been a very action-packed filled race. This has been really fun to commentate. I thank you all for the 6 who are putting on a good show tonight. This is such a weird track, but such a fun one. And it's always with road circuits, you're always gonna get incidents. Like, it's just bound to happen. The track is bumpy, your car is all over the place, you know, the walls are close, there's no runoff, you know, you're not, and we'll see here, I think the pits are open. You see nobody taking a pit stop. Oh, Oliver did not take the penalty pit stop. Uh-oh. That's not good. We'll have to see if Oliver is able to make the penalty pit stop next time around before Ace catches up, because if they go green and Oliver has not taken the penalty pit stop, that's going to be a 30-second time penalty or a drive-through penalty when it goes green. Now, that's not going to be fun. I don't think it states in the rules you have to take the penalty pit stop as soon as the pits open to green. Just should write that down. Stating that rule. Or after this race, it won't be enforced. However, we see they're double widening. Oliver's not taking a penalty pit stop, so it looks like he might have to take a drive-through penalty on green, or he's going to take a 30-second time penalty. To see how this goes here. And they're green for restart number 2 as Amoeba leads us down into turn 1. They're really packed up close for this one. Chavez on the inside there, Mailman around the outside with Cyber there. Ooh, Chavez running a little bit wide, pushing out Mailman a little bit, and here we go. There's going to be chaos into turn 2. Hard on the brakes. Oliver diving up on the inside. Chavez gets a huge shoulder charge there into the door of Chavez, and Oliver's going to take that position. And Chavez and Ace are around. Is there damage? Another incident. Looks like they're moving again. Another incident. People holding off the lead of the pace as Oliver trying to catch up to Mailman now with Cyberpunk closely following behind as we're rounding out the first lap green. Do note, Oliver might have to take a penalty pit stop here. Or the drive-through. He's missed his first opportunity to take it. He has 5 laps to take a drive-through penalty, else he's going to get 30 seconds added to the end of his race. Alright, the brakes into turn 2. Oliver catching up to Mailman here. 0.5 second split him. Chavez catching up to Cyberpunk in the back there. We'll have to see how that plays out. It's a battle for second position. Hard on the brakes. Mailman and Oliver bumper to bumper. Cyberpunk and Chavez getting together back there. It's kind of hard to watch both of these battles at once as Amoeba is running away with this race. Mailman's got to battle Oliver for a few laps still. He's got a lot of race left. Chavez might get in the mix, depending on if Chavez can get around Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk seemed to be putting on a really good defense against Chavez back there. Kind of hard to see. As Oliver's going to try and outbrake Mailman. Mailman runs a really wide line, and Oliver's going to try and slide him behind in front, but Mailman's going to dive on the inside there. It's going to keep the position. What a great defense from Mailman and all between Oliver there. As Chavez just gets barely past Cyberpunk there, back there. See through the twisty bit, through the final corner, hard on the brakes. Oliver following super close behind. He's going to take a better line, better exit. It looks like he's going to get a much better exit. The Mailman's able to get there. Mailman runs a little bit wide and almost hits the wall there. Chavez still contested by a Cyberpunk back there. As Oliver's going to run just past him on the inside. We'll have to see if Mailman's able to outbrake him into turn 1, but as we've seen how proficient Oliver is on the brakes, it looks like Oliver's going to slot back in behind into turn 1 as this long left-hander. It looks like he didn't want to risk it on the inside there as it just cursed him last lap. Oliver hard on the brakes. Is Mailman going to be able to switch back him on the inside there? It's going to become the outside here as they come into the tight right-hander. And Oliver's going to almost go wide. He just kept that in as Mailman's going to keep that position. Chavez with a little twitch back there. He's going to keep it. Mailman's going to keep this position from Oliver another lap. 11 laps left in this race. Mailman is defending like a champ against Oliver here as we come into the final stages of this race. Still a lot to go. No clue how this is going to come down. This might come down to the wire. There might be another incident. There might be a last lap sprint. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how these that penalty pit stop is dealt with the stewards the staff after the race. Because I'm not sure how it was ruled in the race. But from what my understanding of the rule is he might be hit with a pretty stern penalty. We'll have to see. Mailman and Oliver are still duking it out. Oliver was not that close that time. It looks like Chavez might come into the picture here. If they keep battling and keep slowing down, they might be able to drag Chavez in. That's actually a good thing for Chavez. As Chavez is really probably wants to get back at Mailman from Yas Marina. I would too. I would be really pissed off to lose last lap. A little mistake like that, and look at that. Chavez is pulling in a little bit by little bit. It looks like they're definitely slowing each other down. It looks like Mailman might be slowing down Oliver here. Come to round out lap number 42. Amoeba running away with this race. He might be lapping the grid before the end of the race here. To see. Oliver still farther back in, a little bit squirrely here. Gonna hold it, keep it down steady. Gonna turn number 2, hard on the brakes. Lean all the way through. Chavez is catching up. You can see that gap from Oliver to Chavez slowly coming down. Still a good margin. 3 seconds is still a good while, but we saw Chavez come back from 3 seconds at Yas Marina. We just gotta hope to God we're rooting for you, Chavez, that you're able to bring back this gap here. Man, seems to be driving like a champ like now. He's pulling away from Oliver just ever so slightly. The gaps are really close. They're really close on pace here. Turn 1 and turn 2. Very clean, very smooth. Oliver getting a little squirrely. You can see that back end kicking out, but he's able to keep it through there clean, losing a little bit of time to Mailman on the hard brakes here. And wow, look at the time Oliver makes up on the brakes there. Mailman's biggest weakness right now is his brakes. He's losing tons of time in the braking zones because of running ABS. He's able to hold his own to the S bit. He's going to run wide. He's going to hit the wall. He's going to push Oliver wide to the second bit. He's going to lose the position to Oliver. Here we go. We're going to have to see who gets a better run here. That's a really unfortunate situation. But look how close Mailman is to Oliver still. That could have been the mistake to throw it away, unfortunately, for Mailman. We'll have to see how this plays out. There's still a good bit of race left. We'll have to see how this all comes down to the wire. The end. I hate that I keep saying that, but I don't want to call the race too early on. I'm like, well, Oliver's going to run away with this. No, he might not. He might make a big mistake and lose it. We never know. As soon as I pass somebody, I'm like, I'm going to run away with this race. Make a mistake. You get too cocky. But it looks like that gap is getting a little bit bigger between Mailman and Oliver. But that gap between Chavez and Mailman is coming down even closer. 2 seconds now. 2.2. Will Chavez be able to do what he was unable to do at Yas Marina and beat Mailman? So far, Chavez, after the few restarts, has kept it pretty clean. No incidents between him. Looks like Amoeba is passing some lap traffic here. Looks like it's going to get by cleanly. See it. Chavez's gap has gone down to 3 seconds, and ooh, Oliver getting a little wide on the brakes there. Oh man, with a beautiful apex. I'll bring in a 10th there. A Mailman still might have second place here. We don't know until the end of the race after the pit incident gets investigated. That's not something we'll have like pop up on screen. Well, something I can be like, hey, blah 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 penalty for blah 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 person, because that's not. I'm not at liberty to give anybody penalties as a spectator, as a commentator. When I get off my commentary duties, I can file an SI, do all that fun stuff, but we'll have to see. I don't know if he said because the guys ahead of him didn't pit, it didn't make sense for them to make a penalty pit stop and Ace drove in. That's what I'm thinking happened. Because if that's the case, there's no penalty. That's what I'm thinking happened, actually, now that I think about it more. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Sorry for accusing you for a penalty, Oliver, if you're listening to this. We'll investigate after the race, and you'll be informed next race if there is anything that happened to the after the provisional results. Oliver still pulling away from Mailman, and look at this! It's back! It's Chavez and Mailman back again like they were at Yas Marina. As they are within half a second now. Chavez has made a huge comeback drive after a bunch of incidents. Here we go. This is a podium position fight now between Mailman and Chavez with the rounding out of laps. We're coming down to the end of this race. We'll have to see. Chavez trying to put his nose up in the inside. Might have the run on Mailman here. They come down and start finish straight. Well, into the final corner, really. Looks like they are really close. They're going to be back and forth for position here, and Chavez is going to get ahead. But how close is Mailman going to be able to hold this now? Turn 1, fast left-hander, my bad. Mailman's backing off. Does Mailman have damage? He has a little bit of transmission damage, but I don't think that's going to be holding him back this much. Chavez is pushing hard, and Chavez is going to take third position for now. We'll have to see if Chavez is able to hold that position. When somebody's in the pits, we'll hop on board with whoever that is. It is Blind Ace Gen in the pits. I'm wondering if they took some damage. And Chavez with a pretty hefty wall strike there. Hopefully he doesn't have any damage. Be good with a little bit of transmission damage. He's even playing field with Mailman right now. Lap 50, we're rounding out to the penultimate lap. Mailman has fallen off from Chavez now, and Chavez might be coming home to pick up a third position here. To the battle at the back of the pack, we have Ace on Cyberpunk here. This is the battle for 5th and 6th positions at the end of this race. Every point counts. Chavez looks to have been able to do, and we're on the last lap as Amoeba starts, the white flag waves for Amoeba. And here we go, the battle to the end here between Ace and Cyberpunk. We'll have to see how this plays out. Ace trying to contest the position around the outside there. It's really tricky, and Ace is going to get loose. Is going to lose a lot of time there. Might have time. Ooh, a big cut there from Ace across the curbs into the final corner. They're down a lap, so they actually still have one more lap of racing. We can see on the map, Amoeba is coming to finish first at race number 5, Rio de Janeiro Coastal Loop Reverse, the TFG Volvo Spec Championship. Followed by a pretty large gap, Oliver finishing second after all of that drama. Might be under investigation for... Oh, Cyberpunk's going to run real wide into that turn 3 section. Might be under investigation for the pit incident. We'll have to see. Secures second place. Chavez is going to do what he did. Going to do what he couldn't do at Yasmarine at Rio, and is going to take third position from Mailman. Mailman going to slot in fourth. And the battle for fifth and sixth here as we're coming down to the final lap. It looks like Cyberpunk is going to get ace at the end. Oh, they still have another lap. I'm sorry. They're still going. They have another lap. I think Ace may have celebrated too early. I could be wrong. However, Cyberpunk does look... I was celebrating too early. And here we go. Rounding out the final corner. Cyberpunk is going to finish 5th for race number 5. And Ace is going to... Ace is stopped on track. Does Ace have damage? Oh, I think Ace got wrecked by one of the AIs. That's unfortunate. What sucks about getting wrecked by the AIs is there's no one to SI. There's no one to report. It looked like he was struggling. They were struggling on that final lap. And here we go. That is the end of race number 5 for the TFG Volvo TC Spec Championship as we look at our provisional results. In first, winning out another win in the TFG Championship. So far undefeated is LMP Amoeba, followed by TJT Oliver in second after a big comeback drive. After a lot of incidents during that race, a lot of drama, was able to come back and take second position. Chavez in third after making another comeback drive during that drama, was able to capitalize on the virtual safety cars and come back to beat Mailman, who he had a big squabble with last race. Mailman catching fourth with a little bit of a struggle towards the end of the race. Fifth, Cyberpunk with a great drive, and pulling up the rear of the grid is Blind Ace Gen. Thank you all for attending. We're going to stick around if you'd like to listen to pre-race interviews. It'll take us a few seconds as I get all that organized. Welcome, Chavez. That was another great race, another comeback drive. It looked like you were struggling at the beginning of this race. You had good pace during quali. You're keeping on to the bunch at the beginning. There looked like some unfortunate events happened, but due to the safety cars and incidents happening, you ended up winding up in third after all that. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it. Like, at least after the restart, I found out that since I was running like lower aero than everybody else and the gear I had a blistering start on the restart. So basically, I tried to maximize it and see where that landed me. I was lucky that Melman, I heard that unfortunately he had some damage. So basically, having a consistent pace at the final stint, like, it made the difference. Because of the first one, I don't know if you ever showed telemetry, but I unfortunately got engine damage of the first stint.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that's why,
That's why you were in the pit.
yeah, that's why they ran away from me. And afterwards I pit, I was pushing too much and I caught the side of the corner again. That was why it got messy at the beginning. But it was a fun race.
And you came back to beat Mailman after all that. We get back at him from Yazarina. So with that being said, we'll hope to see you at next week's race. Another great performance. Have a good one. Mailman, you're in the party as well.
Yep.
How do you feel about that race? You were battling off the leaders for a majority of that race. How was that being in that hot seat?
It felt great. I knew that ABS was going to kill me. I was hoping running minimum aero again would keep my pace up, and the longer turns, which seemed to have worked for the most part.
Yeah, it looked like even in the slower turns, you had a lot of pace on Oliver for a good bit there, until like, yeah, as you said, that ABS was killing you into turn 2. That hard braking zone every time Oliver would get you up there, but you were able to keep on him really well through the rest of the track. So you had a good setup for the car, obviously.
Yeah, and then lap 46. The game didn't show you for some reason, but I did take damage. The left brake and suspension were dead.
Yeah, I did not see any of that. I was kind of surprised to see you going so much slower. I thought it was just maybe end of race, problem or whatever. But yeah, that's unfortunate to see at the end of the race.
Yeah.
But overall, how do you feel about your performance? You look pretty strong out there.
It was really good. I was really surprised I kept up with Oliver, knowing what he did with Yas Marina, and just driving the MBR in general.
He's a LMP prodigy at the moment. He's moving up.
Yeah, I just had no idea I would remotely keep up with him at all.
That was a great race from everyone out there. What was your reaction to that early incident that caused the first safety car?
I didn't think much of it. As I was actually losing Chavez, even with bad tires. So my only problem was if I took damage, which I did. And I keep Chavez away. In fact, as far as I know, me and Chavez never competed for a position other than a safety car or when I took damage.
So you felt pretty confident holding him back for this race?
Yeah.
I think you'll hold that confidence going into Bathurst?
Bathurst, my setup should actually work a bit better because it's still minimum aero, but with longer gears.
Ah, okay, I see. Alright, well that's going to wrap it up here. Thank you for coming to talk to us, both of you. Have a good night, and we'll see you all next week.
Yep.
See you next week. Good luck.
Alright, and that's going to wrap up race number 5 of the TFG NBR Championship with the Volvo Touring Car Spec. On to next week. We actually have a good bit of events happening at NBR. Tomorrow, for you all watching the stream, this will not really apply to you on YouTube unless I get this out immediately. But July 29th is the third annual NBR 2.5 Hours of Le Mans, the 1998 edition. Signups are available for that until tomorrow. Next week is another round of the BRZ Championship that's coming back on Saturday. We'll be able to live stream that here on the NBR Twitch channel. The final race of the TFG Championship as well at Bathurst. Please come see that Friday, same time. And with that being said, that's all we have for now. Check in tomorrow for the next live stream, and check out the Discord in the description, and all of our social medias in the description for you YouTube folks. See you all later. Thank you all for watching, and Gabriel Woodward, and I'm signing out.